As the brave Iranian people are continuing their fight for freedom, Joe Biden's government and the US Democrats are too busy helping their friends in the Iranian regime. Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is actually one of the most important videos that we're going to be doing today. We are exposing the US Democrats and Joe Biden. As you guys obviously heard, the uprising in Iran continues. It's the 26th day, I think, or 27th day of this revolution. Now, for those who know the history, this whole regime in 1979 was backed by the CIA and essentially the US Democratic establishment and Carter as president. That thing continues. We are going to expose something very nasty in this video. This is about NIAC and the Iran lobby, as we say. Joe Biden and the Democrats have always been obsessed with keeping the Iranian regime in power because they would rather have a weak enemy in Iran than an independent, strong partner. The reality is that that's why they're pushing for the Iran deal. And every now and then they come out and say, oh, we are going to issue a statement about the human rights or lack of human rights in Iran. But that doesn't mean that they oppose the regime, because they do the same thing with Saudi. They're one of their biggest allies. It's just part of the game. This is about NIAC, the National Iranian American Council, which is basically called the Iran lobby. Now, these guys are in America. You got a mixture of some Iranians and Americans, basically Democrats, in there. The point of that is that they call themselves reformists, and they try to show the image of, yes, we oppose the lack of human rights in Iran. Let's try to fix that. But they are not in favor of regime change. They are simply promoting the same ideology, and they just want their people in power. They just want to be the puppet masters of the current Iranian regime. If you want to see more evidence of this, you can see this guy, Tousi, who's in charge of it. He works with the Biden administration's and lobbies for the Islamic Republic of Iran. He conceals and gaslights all the allegations and evidence of crime against humanity, and he works with Biden. Not only that, this so-called Iran lobby, NIAC, have been endorsing a huge number of Democratic candidates. These are the US Democrats who've been supported by this lobby. Look at the top right, by the way. That's Ilhan Omar, the nutter, who's obviously an extremist, and she's not only hard left, but she's very much in favor of promoting hardcore Islamism in the West. Funnily enough, this is the amount of money that's been donated to the political parties in America by NIAC, $27,000. 100% of it has gone directly to the Democrats. $0 went to the Republicans. Not only that, they also gave an award, a courage award, to the Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. This was for her relentless pursuit of peace, equality, and justice. Translation: communism. Yeah, so these guys continue their propaganda against not just the freedom fighters in Iran, but actually innocent and hardworking American taxpayers and American workers who are in America, and this lobby is also infiltrating the American society at the same time. This is Mehia Sarwa, and she's the senior legal advisor for Ilhan Omar. She's also part of NIAC and the Iran lobby. She's an activist, part of it. So they are completely infiltrating the American establishment, the Western institutions, and they are basically promoting the extreme version of what's going on in Iran and the Islamic Republic dictatorship. So, for those who don't know, this is again Ilhan Omar who made a speech about NIAC, and this is very recently, as the uprising started. She says, "There is no morality in oppressing women. We stand with the women and girls in Iran, chanting women, life, freedom." Having said that, she took that opportunity to make that speech and that cause political for America. She decided to turn it about left and right and decided to attack the conservatives in the US.
So here in the United States, when the right extremists are challenging our bodily autonomy, we have to stand up and say, women, life, freedom.
Really? Really? People women and schoolgirls and school children, generally speaking, and men in Iran, are currently fighting for their lives, for fundamental rights to exist and live freely, you've decided to turn into a trivial debate and policy clashes for the American society. Are you absolutely kidding me? Do you really think you can compare the democratic debates that you guys have in the US, in different states, about policy differences to the fundamental challenge that people in Iran have for basic freedoms and basic human rights? It's not the same. You can't just attack the conservative Republicans and say, well, it's basically the same problem. They are also oppressing us. No, they're not. It's called democracy. That's what you have in America. Now, you guys don't want to have it. You guys want to turn America into another Islamic Republic of Iran. That's what you want to do. A communist version of what's going on in Iran, which is basically a socialist country anyway at this point, with all the policies coming from the Tehran regime. But it is not really the time to make it a party political matter, Ilhan Omar. But this Nayak thing, this Iran lobby, is one of the most disgusting and dangerous things happening right now. And of course, there's an appetite for the US democratic establishment. You had Carter in 1979 betraying his own ally, the Shah of Iran, when the Islamist nutters came in. Then you had in 2009 Barack Hussein Obama, who decided to also betray the people of Iran when there was a rigged election and there was a green movement happening. He also turned a blind eye because he preferred to keep the regime in power so he could shake their hands and sign the Iran nuclear deal. That's what he did. And right now, the same thing is happening with Joe Biden. Now, Sleepy Joe is not really concerned about what's going on. They have to every now and then release, do a press release saying, yes, we need to fight for human rights. But as I said, they do the same thing with Saudi, and they're friends with Saudi. That's just absolutely normal. There's a reason people in Iran are chanting against Joe Biden on the streets of Iran. And some of them, a couple of months ago, they were chanting for Trump because Trump was not really an interventionist. He wasn't really going to intervene. That's what people in Iran want. They don't want any intervention, foreign intervention. But he was their voice. He showed solidarity. He showed support. That's all they want. They want you to be their voice. They don't really want the West to get involved anymore. That's the reality. Now, if you could do me a favor, share this video everywhere because it's one of those exclusive stories that you're not going to hear in the mainstream media because the whole thing is being completely suppressed by the media for the media. That's what they're not really talking about what's going on in Iran because it's still affecting us in the West and they don't really want us to know the truth. Thanks again, guys, for watching. Subscribe to the channel. I'm Tousi and we are the media.